What's up YouTube, I'm Nicholas's Figure Reviews and this is going to be the video review for SH Figuarts Iron Man Mark 45 from Marvel Avengers Age of Ultron. And of course this product is by Bandai and Nations. Alright, so I got this figure kind of a few months late, so yeah, my dad got it for me, wasn't expecting it, you know, stuff. But other than that, for information, he's pretty much my first Figuart Iron Man, so I'm really excited to see how this guy turns out. And of course, since this guy is pricey like the other Avenger dudes, I think Bandai put in a bit more work on the packaging, I guess. So packaging wise, you have the Avengers layout, you have Age of Ultron movie logo, Marvel, you have Nations Bandai, you have the Reactor printed over here, Avengers A, Figuarts blurb, name of the figure, blah blah blah. And on the back you see the figure in some poses and of course some optional parts that it comes with, which is pretty standard. And of course a really cool picture for you to, you know, stack boxes. So the thing that I found out after I touched this figure was that the box feels more different than the other Kamen Rider SHFs that you normally get, because the boxes are slightly thicker, so that's a really nice touch, I guess, and that would be really nice to see if the Kamen Rider SHFs do get that kind of treatment for the price we paid for. So I guess that's pretty much it for the box. I'll open this guy up and let you guys take a closer look at the figure, so stay tuned. Alright guys, we're back and here we have the Mark 45 armor out of the packaging. Right, so before I actually jump straight into the review, I'm just gonna let you guys take a 360 look of the armor. Just a quick one, if you guys haven't seen it. So there you have it, and I'll put in a few figures for comparison. So we have my few Iron Man figures, you have God Killer armor, Marvel Legend, so slightly taller than that. And you have Revoltech Mark II. So that's actually pretty much of most of my Iron Man figures. But I'm just gonna throw in Kamen Rider Drive type speed, just in case you guys want to know what's the scale like. So Iron Man is a bit on the taller side than SHF Drive, which is okay, I guess. But he's kind of in scale with his other armors, except this guy over here, because you know, Marvel Legends. But for Revoltech, I guess that's pretty nice to see. So putting all the other figures aside, let's jump into the review. Alright, so when I saw this armor in the movie, I was really amazed by how good it looks, the new sleeker design. Because as you guys know, the Mark 43 of course is a repaint of the Mark 42 from Iron Man 3. So I was kind of meh because it's pretty much the exact same armor, but it gets more red. So I guess that works because the gold was horrible, trust me. But after Tony used this armor to fight Ultron, I was amazed by how beautiful the design is. Many people say it's based off the Bleeding Edge. If I'm not wrong, it's kind of there. But I guess. But other than that, for the figure itself, you can see the sculpt of this figure. It complements the armor quite well. It's not completely accurate, like my opinion. The head has a bit of a difference. I can't see it, but I think it's there. But other than that, lots of nice detail and sculpting all around the whole figure, and of course that metallic red paint that's used. And if you know, red is my favorite color. Haha. Alright, so very little gold is seen around the armor, unlike all the older ones that you have seen, with the usual gold face mask, some nice gold details around. So the color scheme is pretty consistent, because I didn't get to see much of the armor as a standalone posture, because it's fighting most of the time, so I can't really see how it actually looks like. But after looking at the figure, I can see lots of nice colored areas. It's not randomly put and all that. Right, so for articulation, I'm just gonna jump straight into articulation first because it's quite long. And of course, there is a few cool stuff about this armor that I want to talk about in terms of the articulation, I guess. It's more of the feet area, the torso and the hip area. But for the head, you have a double ball joint, so a ball joint connection at the neck and on top of the head. So you can do the chicken, and of course you get another ball joint down below at the neck. And the problem about this is that it starts to get gappy in there, but he can look down pretty far together with the upper ball joint in the head area. And I like how when you move the head, the neck blends in together with the joint, so that's pretty nice to see. And since he does have a double ball joint on the head, he can look up pretty well, so for flag posing you have no problem for that. Head pivot, and you have 360 rotation. Yes, you do, but try not to do that because I did feel a bit of friction over there. For the shoulders, you have the cylindrical pull-out joints, which are also stated in the instructions, so you can roll them around. Universal joint on the shoulder that gives you this much movement outwards. You have a individual hinge on the, what do you call this again, the shoulder pad, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and I like how the joint flows out and blends in together with the armor really well. Really nice to see. And you have a ball joint on the wrist, and it's unusual because you normally get a ball hinge, but instead you get a ball peg. But that still gives you minimal range, so I guess that's okay. Gonna push in the shoulder joints. For the torso, this is where it gets interesting because as you can see from the back, this joint is segmented, so that's really nice and it moves along really well. As you can see, lots of inner sculpting in there as well. That's really nice. And at crunch you get a decent range. For torso rotation, you only get a ball joint rotation on the upper chest, diaphragm joint I guess, but for lower rotation you don't get at all, but that's because you need to kind of fiddle the figure a bit. So from the other reviews that I watched, you kind of have to press the tummy and then you have to tuck the plating in and you're gonna rotate it like that. And from what I can see, not any paint is scratched yet. It's actually quite amazing because I feel quite a lot of friction, but none of the paint is actually scratched, so I'm really glad. Right, so you get that extra bit of articulation. It's kind of dangerous, but at least it's there. So yeah, still this thing's segmented, it's amazing. Alright, for the lower torso area, you have the pull down joints, so you can do the high kicks. And do be careful with the legs because there's these short bits over here that tend to collapse together the leg and they might make dents on the armor. But this is kind of a really hard PVC plastic if you do fiddle the figure a bit, so the dent may reform itself and it will disappear, but try not to do that because it will scratch off the paint. Right, so you have the pull down joints, you have a ball jointed hip that go out this far, so really nice range. And for the thighs, instead of a swivel, you get a ball joint. So many people think that this is just a rotation, but you do get a ball joint, so you can do more dynamic poses. As you can see, you can rock the thigh front and back, side to side as well. You can move it all around, so that's really nice added bit of articulation. So ball joint on the thighs, you have double jointed knees that also blend in really well, and of course more sculpted bits in there. Very nice to see. And you have die cast foot, so you have front and back hinge, so front and back, minimal range. You have this flap that covers up the joint, of course it's for the design wise. And you have toe pivot, ankle pivot, which is kind of hard due to the fact that this is die cast, so the metal tends to create friction. But you get a ankle 360 rotation as well, and you have a toe hinge that goes up this far, so really decent range. So that's pretty much it for Mark 45's articulation. A really posable figure, but you do need to be careful of what you're handling with, especially in the lower hip area, because I think that's the most important part you need to take care of, because paint tends to get scratched off. Alright, for accessories, I'm just going to put him back. He comes with the exact same amount of effect parts that Mark 42 and Mark 43 comes with. So whatever you're getting as extras is pretty much the same. So you get 2 repulsor blast effects for his hands, painted well with the pliable transparent yellow plastic. So really nice touch, like how it flows. You have his boot thruster effects with a bit of frosty white for the smoke, and they pack into the bottom of his feet that has peg holes. They don't really stay on really well after a while, because for some reason there's a extension on the peg over here that kind of blocks the whole peg from going in, but it stays quite well if it does, and it looks okay. And lastly, he also comes with thruster flying effects for his hands, or a smaller boost of attack, I guess. So you have that orange, that dark orange in there, and some frosty white. So really nice detail on them overall. For hands, each of his hands are plated, so you don't need to worry about taking off the plates and stuff. So he comes with fisted hands, comes with open spread hands. Unfortunately, the hands are not painted like in a repulsor. I don't know why, but still. So he comes with widespread open hands. Comes with karate chop hands for some reason. I really don't know why. And he comes with repulsor blast or flying pose hands that have this angle to it. So you can do this. The joint is sculpted in a way where it's making his wrist bend upward, so you don't really need to force the ball joint to move the hand up and stuff. So putting on the effect like that simply pegs on, if you guys don't know. Yeah, looks really good overall. Just kind of a little letdown that his repulsor hands, his repulsors are not painted, but it's not that much of a deal. I mean, like, customizers can fix the job, but yeah. Oh yeah, and one thing to tell you, his arc reactor, it's a pearlescent white paint in there. And the good thing about this is that during photography, for photography purposes, this thing can reflect light and it shines really brightly. Even on the camera you can see it's glowing really brightly. That's really nice to see, because I have my torch here, so you have my torch away, and as you can see, once I put my torch, it reflects light really well. Alright, so I guess that's pretty much it for the review. So on my overall thoughts of this figure, I give it 9.5 about over 10, because scratchable paint is possible, so I just have to take that 0.5 out of that 10. But other than that, the rest of the figure, it's incredible. On my version of this figure, so far the paint is consistent, so I'm really happy about that. And just love the metallic red this figure, and of course all the cool features, that Bandai put in on all the articulation for this figure. I'm just really amazed by how much work has been put in for making this figure. And of course it's pricey, but I do understand that due to the fact that it's for Marvel licenseship, but for a pricey price, I guess it's a decent figure for you to get if you do plan to get a Iron Man Figuart. So I really recommend this figure to you guys if you are looking for an Iron Man Figuart. You can get the Mark 43, but if you do that, you need to get the Mark 44 because you know it's how it works. But as a standalone figure, I really recommend this figure a lot because it's really beautiful, and that's all I have to say about this. So I guess that's pretty much it for the review. If you do enjoy this review, do leave a like, comment, and subscribe below. Yep, subscribing to my channel really helped my channel a lot, so I really appreciate it if you do subscribe. This is Nicholas's Figure Review signing out, and I hope to see you guys in another video. And thank you for watching. Peace.